Hey quilters, it's all about block number 2 of the AQS Sew-Along. That's what we're working on today.
So gather up your fabric and sew along with us.
Hey quilters, I'm Pam Heller, AccuQuilt's cutting expert. I'm tearing out a seam.
You're unsewing.
I am.
And I'm Erica Bodker, AccuQuilt's creativity expert. I unsewed some last night.
All right, quilters, welcome to part 3 of the Go Simply Cube Throw Quilt AQS AccuQuilt-Along. Today we're going to show you how to sew together block 2 of this project.
Plus, we're going to have live question and answer all throughout the show. So the team's going to send us the questions that you need answered.
That's right, so be sure to ask any questions you have in the comment section wherever we stream our show, or you stream it.
Yeah. All right, quilters, in case you missed it, we introduced this project back on March 27th on the show and in the blog, and we started the project then on April 10th. Now, on that show, we went over how to cut your fabric for the block, organizing
Oh,
your
yes, I
pieces.
remember all this.
Remember, it seems so long ago, doesn't it? We talked about organizing your pieces. We're using high-tech zippy bags, and we talked about some possible variations. And then last week, we sewed block 1.
We did, and it was super fast and super easy, and it's very beneficial to watch all of those previous shows before you start on the Go Simply Cubed Throw Quilt by Anita Amador. So be sure to check it out on AccuQuilt's video gallery, Facebook page, or YouTube pages. You'll also want to download and print the pattern and have it as you sew the blocks.
That's right. Now this quilt is based on just 2 different blocks, and we've got it hanging on the wall here.
I can walk.
You want to walk over and show us? Okay, so last week we made block 1. So where's block 1, Pam?
Right here.
Right.
Block 1.
You need 4 of them. And then today we're going to make block 2.
Bless you, which is right here.
You're going to need 3 of them.
Now, just like block 1.
No, you're going to need 5 of them. I'm sorry.
You're going to need 5.
Now, tell us about the 3 by 3
Okay.
grid. That's where 3 comes in.
Normally in AccuQuilts, when we use a cube, we do a 2 by 2 grid or a 4 patch. So 2 columns, 2 rows. But this is a 3 by 3. So 3 rows, 3 columns. The same with block 2. We're going to use 3 rows, 2 columns, and so since we're using the 10-inch cube, this block is going to finish to 15 inches. So, but because all the shapes are the same in every cube, they're just different sizes, you could actually use this pattern for any size cube.
Okay.
You would just have different size blocks.
There you go. All right, now somebody has a question for us.
Already? We just started.
Already, and she said it seems like the instructions had her cut too many squares, and I'm wondering which squares she's talking about. So if you can let us know which squares you're talking about, we will double check on that for you.
Okay, but today we are going to sew a bazillion half square triangles together.
Roughly.
A bazillion is more than 3. And it is our ultimate chain piecing, so you want to have everything handy, including your pressing mat and your iron. Erica and I both have these.
Yes.
And we don't have the Oliso irons yet in stock, but they are coming.
They are coming, and I really like this. It has like a headlight when you go to iron, which sounds like, why would I need that? Oh my gosh, it's so nice.
Well, don't you have one on your vacuum?
I do, and sometimes it horrifies me.
That you have one, or that you
No, that I can see all that fur that Riley dog has left behind, and it's ever so much. Sometimes I wonder why he's not naked.
There you go.
There is so much fur in my house. But the iron comes with this great sole plate too, and one side is to rest it on, and has little feet, and then the other side, when you're, like if you're traveling with it, taking it with you, it like pops on and protects your faceplate, which I love. So I'm just gonna set this over here.
All right, Erica, I'm rewinding my
yes, you
machine here.
as you were there, we'll get started on our blocks. So you're gonna make 5 of this block 2 for your quilt, unless you've decided to make your quilt bigger. And I know some of you have already jumped into that.
And some of you have already finished your quilts. For those of you who are still sewing blocks, that is where I am and where
Yes,
Erica is.
that's
I
right.
have not sewn a single block number 2. So that's why I came to the show today.
So here we are. So the first thing we're gonna do is some half square triangle units. And you're gonna need 30 of each color combination. So for me, I'm gonna have 30 that are my pink and my background, kind of this tealy light blue color. And then 30 of the yellow, the same thing. Here, I'll show Greg. And that means that each block is gonna need 6. So I'm just gonna sew 1 block's worth. So I'm gonna sew 6 of each of my color combinations to get started.
Yep. And I'm going to do the same thing. I have this great pink, and we're going to do it to the background, and this gold, and we're going to put it to the background. And I've already started to stitch some of these, but again, I'm just going to make enough for 1 block today. When you're doing it, do all of it. So all the half square triangles.
All the half
together.
square triangles. Do you have your shoes off, Pam?
I do have my shoes off, and I turned on the air conditioning earlier, and it's a little chilly in the dream
I
studio
walked
without
in and
my
I
shoes.
said, oh, Pam Heller's
Pam
been
has
in
been
here
here.
and turned on the air conditioning.
Yes, and it was funny because typically I sew with like noise.
Right.
And
Was it quiet in here when you came in to
It,
sew?
it was quiet when I came in to sew.
How did that feel?
Very awkward,
I see.
but it's okay. All right, so tell us what questions you have. Before anybody asks, our stitch length is 2.5.
We checked. It's
did.
the default on both of our machines, and that's what we use for our standard piecing.
Yep.
I very rarely touch mine. Do you?
I never. I take it in to have it cleaned, and I don't mess around
Yeah,
with it.
yeah.
Because I only have one sewing machine, so if I mess with it and it doesn't work, then I'm really
Well,
in
and yours just does a straight stitch,
only a
too.
straight stitch. Yeah. So this is the FOF we use here in the studio, but at home I have a brother that is probably 25 years old, and it only sews a straight stitch, and I love everything about that.
Don't you love our new furniture from Arrow that we're sewing on?
Yes, and okay, quilters, we're gonna tell you this, because until I sat in a sewing chair, I didn't think I needed one, but now I know I do.
It's true. It is very
Now
true.
I know I do.
Yeah. So I'm
2,
finishing up my
4,
pinks and
6.
I'm gonna do my golds.
Okay, and we need just 6 for the block, right?
Yes. So you need 6 of each color.
Okay.
'Cause
I
we've
think
got
that's
some
gonna
corner and then the center unit to build.
Okay. And while we're talking, don't forget to join the AQS project
Quilting
parade.
Project
Quilting-
Parade.
Yes. You would
All the
think by
words.
now I would
All the
know that.
words, yeah.
But you can post your blocks, you can post your fabric. Some of you have posted your finished quilts.
Oh my goodness, yes.
So many of you. It's been super fun to
It
watch.
is. I love seeing everybody's great color combinations and fabrics and how they're changing it up and personalizing it. We're going to have a show and tell show coming up where we're going to highlight some of those. We won't have
yeah.
time to highlight all of them, I'm sad to say, but
But we will get some of
we
them.
will get some of them on there, yeah.
All right, so now I've actually sewn all 6 of mine. So I'm going
You're
to
going to press?
press to the dark side. Anita wrote some really great pressing instructions, but typically I do this. So Erica, in your quilting head, is the dark the pattern?
The dark is the pattern in my quilting head.
Mine too.
yeah.
So I'm gonna just come right here and use my little shovel iron. And Erica's gonna stitch for a minute, and then we're gonna look at questions.
Yep, we sure are.
And the thing I really enjoy about this particular pattern is that the blocks are easy to use, easy to sew, easy to cut. We've used our cube, we've cut off all the dog ears.
This is a pattern, I think, to just really sit back and relax, enjoy the process.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, now see, I've got the same problem that you had earlier.
There you go.
we were talking about our throat plates here.
Single needle
Single needle,
throat plate instead of our grabby feet.
right, instead of the multi-purpose one.
And I think for us that's gonna be cool. Oh, hey, look. Thanks, guys. They're using the overhead camera. I love how it
Oh.
all works out.
Oh, like that. All right, we've got a couple questions here. And Terry says, good morning from Terry K. from Columbus, Nebraska, which is
Terry,
nearby.
Terry, do you know my husband? I think Terry and Ray have worked together.
Oh,
She
okay.
is a quilter.
Oh,
And
okay.
she watches our show. Hi, Terry.
Well, she wants to know if we do our own quilting. And
Yes and no.
yes and no is the answer to that.
Yes.
So-
Go ahead, Erica.
Often we do. Often, now, as you may have recalled, if you watch very often, you know Pam gives me a hard time because I make lots of small,
So-
like wall hangings and table runners and placemats. And those kinds of smaller projects, even little lap quilts, I will quilt myself, and I like doing that. But when they get bigger, or if I'm putting some Cuddle by Shannon, our friends
Oh,
at
yeah.
Shannon, on the back of it, then I will take it to Mr. Ron, the quilter up the road.
And our good friends at Handy Quilter have loaned us a Longarm machine.
Oh,
which
yes, I
we
forgot
have-
to mention that
Which
because
we have used, which actually I am going to use to quilt this quilt. It's a gift for a friend of mine for Mother's Day.
well, and when I am doing a larger quilt that does not require, that I don't want something, don't want Cuddle on the back of it, that is how I also quilt them. And this is I mean, it's a skill in its own right.
Oh my, yes. There's a process. Hey, shout out to Adam Sofun who showed us all Handy Quilter forever. And now he's with irons.
Oh, yes.
Irons now too.
Okay, I'm gonna snip
Can't
these
remember what
apart.
irons it is.
So let's see, why don't you use sizing spray or some spray before you press? You know, if I'm gonna do that, usually I will do that before I even get started cutting.
We have a product called Starch Savvy from June Taylor, and you can totally spray it and then iron it to get all the wrinkles out. Once I have cut fabric, I do not let it get wet in any fashion. And I feel like if I'm spraying some Starch Savvy on this, or basting spray, or not basting spray, but
The Starch Savvy.
Savvy, it's gonna distort.
It can distort it. I like to work,
I can see your headlight, Erica.
I don't,
It's very fun.
I typically won't do that until I have a whole, sometimes I'll do it if I have a whole block. I'm gonna grab my
Right.
clapper here. If I have a whole block, once I have a whole block done, I sewed this one backwards, dang it.
Good catch.
Okay, it's hard to tell with mine because it's a print on print and it's kind of shiny on the one side and it's what happens when we talk.
It is.
Let's see, we've got some other, Paula D says chain piecing is awesome on this pattern.
It is. Chain piecing for days. My whole first block, I just chain pieced them.
She added a fourth row and corners don't
Oh.
line up like the other two rows. Has anybody experienced? That shouldn't be a problem adding,
You should just add
they
rows.
should have just been able to add rows. No problem. Let's see, somebody else, did we have another question here?
Because I'm already pressing my next block, so we're going to talk about it.
Okay,
No, but do you have questions?
I don't see
Laura
more.
Star.
I don't see.
That's who Adam Sofun works for now. Laura Star.
I had to stop and think for a minute. Clearly, I'm going to have to unsew one, but
Oh, I just did that on the way, only because I didn't sew it wrong. The machine was making funnies.
I may just set it aside and get
Okay.
to it later.
So let's talk about the next block, because there are instructions on how to put them together.
Yes. So our next unit, we're going to do the square on point, right, Pam?
Yep, we are.
Okay.
So I'm going to lay some of my pieces out so that you can kind of see how this is all going to work. Okay. And square and point, we talked about it last week. Why is it a square and point? Well, it's a square and AccuQuilt did the math. So this is going to finish to a 5-inch finished block. And when you're putting your, am I good right here, guys? Okay. Okay, when you're putting your half square triangles on, you're going to notice that it's going to come just to the edge, and they're right here on both ends are like little vampire teeth. They're just tiny little teeth.
Little vampire teeth. Okay, Pam, that's a new one.
Listen, that's what we're going to call them.
Vampire
Yeah.
teeth.
So when I stitch from here to here, some of you are already stressed about that because you think it's not going to line up. But when I stitch from there to there, and then when I go here, I'm going to do opposite sides, and then opposite sides, and then look. Those vampire teeth don't show.
Okay.
Forever they will be known.
Forever they will be.
Vampire teeth.
Okay. So I am really sorry. I am not finding someplace that says 20 on the pattern. So
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay, let us know. Let us know. Let us know.
Okay.
It's
And,
very similar to let it snow, let it snow.
or let it go, let it go.
Yeah.
I'm going to start sewing my points on. And again, I'm going to have, little did I know, little vampire teeth here.
Vampire teeth. There you go.
What foot am I using? Oh,
1/4 inch.
Miss Courtney, this is a 1/4 inch foot. And you know, there's two different kinds of 1/4 inch feet. There are 1/4 inch feet that have blades on the end. I don't know, Greg, can you get in and take a look at that? Or do you want me to take it off? It has this blade, so that acts like a little bumper. Or you can also do a 1/4 inch foot that doesn't have the blade and go that way. This one has the blade. I kind of like having the blade. Some quilters feel like it gets in their way. I just
I
feel
don't
like,
like the blade.
see, there you go. I know where I'm going. It helps me visually get where I'm heading, so I'm good with it.
Yeah. And here's why I don't like the blade, because I feel like it gets in the way.
Well, like I said, some quilters, like Pam, I kind of like it. So
There you go.
I work with both. The one for my featherweight does not have a blade on it.
There you go.
Okay, now I've got 2 sides done on this square on point, and I'm going to now put the other sides on. Now that I've got the one side on and pressed outside, you can see there are no more vampire teeth.
See?
And when I put this down, it's gonna line up perfectly, and I can sew it, and anything that was there lands up in our seam allowance, so don't fret.
Don't fret. And I am fretting because I realized we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 2.5 inch squares out of the focus fabric.
Oh, you do need 4 out of the focus
I do.
fabric.
I didn't.
Maybe that's what she was talking about, the 4.
I wonder.
Okay.
So behind Mr. Greg in a minute, I'm going to pull out my fabric and cut that.
You know, this is why Pam and I, when we're at home, keep a Go Me right close to us, so that when
Yes.
we forget to cut like
4.
2 or 4 little pieces, we can just whip those out with no problem.
I know. That's true.
All right, let's see what's,
Okay, ask the questions and I'm going to go cut.
just
Hey,
to clarify,
hey,
for
thank you,
shape
Brock.
2,
Producer Brock is going to bring me a Go Me and shape number 2 from this 10-inch cube, which
Oh.
I have right here.
what a sweetie.
Thank you, sweetie.
Shape 2, need 20 of the coordinated pattern fabric, but only 10 of the teal. Yes, yes. So for
Yes, is the answer.
so for shape 2, you need 20 of the coordinated or your focus fabric.
See, that is what I didn't do.
Because there's 1 in each corner unit, but you only need, and because there are 5 blocks, so 4 times 5, that's our 20. there's only 2 of each color in the corner units, so that's why you need 10 of each color also in shape 2, which is otherwise known as the small square.
Yeah, shape number 2.
Okay, I think we've gotten that.
Well, good. Thank you
Yes.
for Brock for bringing me a Go Me, because now I'm going to find some focus fabric and subcut it.
Yes, so we have Karen W. asking about purchasing a shape 2 die in
Just the shape?
a different size. So
Oh,
you can go on to, if you go to your local AccuQuilt retailer or to AccuQuilt.com, shape 2 is a small square. And if there is a certain size of square, you just need that size square, you don't want a cube to go with it, then you can look for that size square, whatever that size square might be. You could also, and that's the easiest way to get that. Now with some of our squares, you know, we have those standalone ones. You can also have a replacement die custom made, but that's gonna take you a lot longer just to get that one.
right.
So check that out, or if you've seen some of our other shows, you know that our strip dies are great multitaskers, and those are great ways to use. You can make squares with your strip dies. So maybe you want to get a strip die from us or your local retailer, and then use that to make your squares. You're going to make a lot of squares in a hurry that way.
Okay, so I'm going to show you this super slick trick. How people ask us this all the time, how do I know how to subcut my fabric? I'm going to measure the shape, it's 3 inches. So I'm going to add 1/4 inch on either side, and I'm just going to rough cut with the fabric strip 3.5 inches.
All right.
And,
I don't think I brought enough half-square triangles with me.
well, look, we have a Go Me. We can,
I'll have to see. I
can
might have
touch us
some in
on
my
here.
in my little zippy bag over here.
Okay,
I may have miscalculated when I pulled them out before the show.
okay. So now I can just lay it right over my shape. I can fan fold. In the AccuQuilt world, we talk about fan folding. This is what that looks like.
Yes,
Going back and forth. Okay.
yes. And I didn't mention, I'm sewing on a baby lock, and if you have depending on what machine you have, go to your dealer and talk to them about different feet. That's who you want to check with for different feet for your sewing machine, and they probably even have the 2 different kinds of 1/4 inch seam feet that you could try out there for you.
And notice, quilters, I didn't cut that off. I just tucked it next to it. And now I have cut 6, which is what I needed for my project.
Fabulous.
Ooh, but I have to put this in the right zippy bag. This is how we store things here. So look, shape 2. There's my shape 2 fabric.
I noticed that some of my zippy bags have several numbers on them right now.
Oh dear.
Well, because I tend to
splurge and buy new
reuse
zippy
them.
bags for every.
Oh, that just makes me crazy.
Okay.
I
Okay.
have a bag of bags.
That is how you know you're a mom, if you have a bag of bags.
I have a
right?
bag of bags, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
All right, let's see where I'm at, how many more half-square triangles I need.
All right, so we're just sewing our shapes together. We're creating our rows. Look at this.
Creating those different units. We did all of our half-square triangles in Flash earlier. Okay, there's one square-on point unit. And I'm using my clapper today. I love using my clapper. It really, I think, helps flatten out my seams. And
Important. Flat seams are important.
seams are important. And we have someone locally who makes these customized AccuQuilt ones. They're solid maple. They absorb the heat, and you just plop them down on top of your seam. You don't have to have used steam on them for them to work. And I think they're fabulous.
And this, just so you all know, is total trust that Erica has sewn her block right, because I am just
Oh, good, I have more.
following her example here.
Listen, there was a mistake in it last night. I fixed it.
Good girl. Oh, and don't worry, we all know when we make mistakes, because thank you all for telling us. No, thank you, because
Yes.
there's nothing worse than putting a whole
Right.
top together.
Right, so
then
here's,
going,
now I put this in this is gonna show up, this little tip is gonna be in next week's blog, but I'm gonna give you a preview of it. When you get your blocks done and you lay out your quilt, I'm gonna tell you to take a picture of it and then leave the room. Go get a snack or a beverage or something.
Love everything about that.
And sit down and then look at that picture really carefully and see if, because sometimes though you just won't see it.
Right, right.
You know, and it'll look different for you. And then, for you who are really brave, share it with your quilting partner in crime and say, hey Pam, hey Erica,
Oh, yes, you
hey
should.
Judy,
One of your,
one of yours, and say, is there something off on here? And quite often Pam will say, yes, there is.
yeah, no, you were doing Exploding Heart. Remember that?
Yes, and I'm like, okay, what's wrong? Something's wrong here. Tell me what's wrong. And she did.
And then Erica fixed it.
Yeah.
Did you get that quilted yet?
No,
Okay.
it's on my to-do list. I got backing.
Oh, good. Good,
I
good.
tend to have commitment issues when it comes to picking backing. Does anybody else
Oh,
have
I
that?
do not.
Really?
Never. I choose.
Really?
I just choose it, and I'm super happy, and I'm done. Sometimes
I'm
I
better.
piece like the scraps or whatever I'm
Yes.
doing. But no, I.
Oh, listen, my to-quilt pile is growing deeper and deeper.
The Gibney finished a beautiful quilt for her son's wedding, and she used, well, first of all, grunge, so for the wind, but she had enough extra that now I am not the Gibney, so I didn't do this, but she measured and cut strips, so it's actually a double-sided quilt.
Yes, it is
It
stunning.
is stunning.
Okay, I don't see any new questions coming on
Oh, let's
here.
know your questions.
I don't think I've missed any, but if I have, the team will let me know, no doubt. And how are you coming over there?
I have sewn all of my pieces, except I'm finishing up my square and a square block.
Okay, so while she finishes that, we can start pulling our pieces into our center unit. Is that okay? Can we
Yeah,
do the
go
center
for it.
unit?
I've already done mine, so go for it.
Okay, so the center unit in the block, I'll pick it up for you, Greg.
And that one, I pressed my seams in opposite directions so they would nest.
Yes, is this block right here, and you need just one for each one of your blocks. So that's
Total of 5.
so a total of 5 of this unit. So we're gonna make that right now. And you know what? Even when I'm just using, and there is no such thing as just, but using half square triangles, when you're working with colors, you wanna make sure you still get them in the right order. Because with this one, we want them in opposite corners.
Yeah, so I pressed just in that center one, the gold ones towards the gold and the pink ones towards the outside, because then those seams will nest.
Yes.
Isn't that
So
slick?
I'm gonna press towards my pink ones, so I'm gonna sew my first 2 together. And if there are more questions, give us a shout out.
We would love to hear your questions.
We would, or comments.
And I'm sure the people who have already finished their entire quilts are wondering what we're doing for the next quilt along.
You know, you're not going to have to wait all that long to find out,
No,
are
it's
they?
coming sooner than everyone
It is
thinks,
coming very
including
soon.
Erica and I.
Yes.
It's
Do you?
right there.
I don't have fabric for it yet. Do you have fabric picked out yet?
I do for the, yeah, some of it. Some of it, I do.
I'm going to look this
only
weekend while I'm.
Because it was a pattern that I really wanted to do, and so I actually have the fabric and started cutting on it, so.
Oh my goodness, Miss Pam. Okay, so I've got my 2 half square units. I'm going to go ahead, clip these off, and I'm going to press towards my pink side. Now here's the thing, we haven't had,
Is this our first quilt along of the year?
no, this is our
What
second.
did we do previously?
We did the grapefruit slice.
Oh, yes, I was like, wait.
Okay, so
Mine
we've
is
had a couple of
quilted and bound.
questions.
I feel
Betty,
like that's good.
Betty wants to know my fabric, my focus fabric or my floral fabric here. It's actually a navy background. It probably looks black on your screen, but it is a navy background, and it's called Vintage Flora, and it's by Kimberbell for Maywood Fabrics.
Because Eric is currently in her blue period.
I am in my blue period currently. And let's see. Karen K, when doing block 1 triangle piece, how do you iron it flat with different colors?
Block 1 triangle piece. Oh, the quarter square triangles? You press towards the dark side and then they will nest.
Right, so you're gonna put those together like it was a 4-patch. And I'm gonna show you how because I nested these. I have both of mine pressed towards the pink side. And when we talk about nesting, that means that I can put, once those, it kind of forms a little lip or a little tiny ledge, and those will lock in right like that together. They're going to nest like that, and I'm going to sew this, and then I'll show you how you can press it to get that center really point.
Lips are
Flat.
not to be confused with vampire teeth.
My, we've had a very colorful show today. Let's see.
I am just, I don't know, I'm so punchy today.
The name of the die we're using, Pam and I are using our 10-inch cube.
Yes.
And you can use any of our cubes that you'd like. The pattern is written for the 10. The sizes will correspond to the 10. But because the same shapes are in every cube, they're just different sizes, you can use any size cube you want. Somebody made a mini quilt with this quilt pattern with their 4-inch.
Again, so I can see what I'm supposed to be doing. No, the big one, the finished one. Turn it 90 degrees. Thank you. Thank you. Now lay it down. So I know what I'm doing.
So pushy.
I'm just like, wait a minute,
so
what has
pushy.
happened here? Erica, stop.
Okay, we're gonna go back to pressing because this is gonna apply to the centers of all of our units coming up. So the first thing I like to do is set my seam with a little heat. I don't know what that does. I was told to do it, so I do. Then I open it up and I go to the middle and I'm gonna spread that center apart in opposite directions. Now you may need to take out a thread or maybe 2 to get it to do this. And you'll see that when you do that, then you create a little miniature, and I do mean miniature, square 4-patch in the center of your block. Here, what's a good angle
Shape
for that?
number 2, not
You
shape
see that?
number 5.
And I'm gonna flap my clapper on it. I'm gonna give it another press real quick. Clap my clapper on it. And that's gonna help spread that, spread your layers out and help you have a flat point, but it's also gonna be a perfectly matched up point, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's see, what is the name of the die? Oh, yes, we talked about that. So we've used several of the shapes from our cube. We've used our small squares and our small half square triangles. We've used our square on point matched up with our
which is
small
shapes 5 and 6.
half square triangle. And then in our first one, we used our large square for the center, and we used our quarter square triangle. And I'm thinking,
Okay.
so let me show you the back. Maybe this will help.
Have you started
Carol,
to sew
okay.
these?
No, you can talk about that. I just want to show Carol real quick how
Carol.
I put together my quarter square triangle blocks, because I think that's what she was talking about. You can see it's going to lay flat. It's going to match up perfectly on the front, and then it's going to lay flat and spread out that bulk on the back. So hopefully that answers your question, Carol.
Yep. Okay, let's talk about this.
Yes, the last unit that we have to sew together.
Yeah, let's talk about this. All right, so we have the half square triangles, and squares. So I'm going to put right sides together, and I'm going to sew the 2 halves, press in opposite directions, and sew the 2 halves together. Huh? I'm going to take these 2 halves, the square and the half square triangle. I'm going to sew them together. I'm going to sew this square and this half square triangle together.
So in your quilting head, you've already laid your blocks out.
I have laid all of my pieces out.
So I will, if I may, just address what I would call laying the elephant in the room when it comes to laying out this block, and that's getting your half square triangles facing the right direction, because that to me has been the biggest problem.
And if you follow the pattern,
Yes.
no, I'm just saying, if you follow the pattern, it helps. There is a,
But paying attention to how it, I have to make it make sense in my head.
okay, will you talk about how it
Here's
has to
the
make
pink side, here's the gold side. You want to make, you're making like a little bow in the center. So not only are your you've got solid squares in opposite corners and half square triangles in opposite corners, but to me we've made like a little bow shape here so that my triangles are coming together. Because what's happened to me on this one is that I've gotten it put together and it's been like, this half square triangle has been a half a turn off. So I'm just saying that it's tricky that way.
It is tricky that way, and honestly, Erica, I am surprised you did not pin on this particular
I did not.
project.
I did not.
I need a shape number 2. Need a square.
No, did I not sew enough pink half square triangle units? Oh, no, because I had to re-sew one that I didn't re-sew yet.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Don't forget to ask us questions in the comments section.
That's right. And no matter how we had traditional rotary cutting directions. Our friends at AQS put those together for us for this pattern, and those were in that introductory blog back on March 27th. And even if you rotary cut all of your pieces, you still want to download the free pattern, because that's where you're going to find the block assembly details.
Oh my, yes. And you're going to need those.
Yes. And come next week, you're going to want those for laying your top out, right?
Yeah, next week we're going to sew our rows together and talk about borders. Because some of you have had bigger borders and more borders. And
So many fun things, yeah.
lots of fun things happening there.
So I've got a question for our quilters. I am heading on the road tomorrow on a little quilting trip. So if any of you have favorite quilt shops in between Omaha and Des Moines, Iowa, let me know in the comment section. I'm going exploring.
She's going on a little mini shop hop.
Yep.
I'm going to clean my garage.
And I'm ever so proud of you. I need to
Well,
clean my garage, but
It's going to be nice in Omaha this weekend. So
it is. It is. I'm missing
thunderstorms on Friday, but
prime
Okay,
I'm
notice,
garage cleaning.
quilters, I am just chain piecing these little corner blocks together. And then I'm ready to do that. Actually, I'm going to finish sewing my pieces together so I'll be all ready for next Wednesday.
Well, look at you.
I think you're already done though, right? Or do you just have your last block?
This is my last block.
See, look at you. You're going to have it done.
I had to sprint ahead since I was going to be gone.
Are you bringing me back a prize?
I am. I wrote a reminder to myself what I want to look for you on my little notes in
Fabulous.
my phone of what I need to look for you.
What I really, really want is for us to have, I just want people to send me like scraps of yellow fabric so I can make the Go pineapple lemonade.
No,
quilt.
I put yellow and brown fabric for
yellow is
Pam
so-
on my to-do list for this
really
trip.
love it. I just really love it.
You need yellow and brown fabric, and you need some 30s reproduction, right?
Yep, yep. So anyway, I got to figure out a way to like create a Facebook page that we can all just swap yellow fabric. Yellow is not a fabric that I often buy.
Well, if you're very nice, I'll share my leftover yellow fabric from this
There.
project if I
Oh,
have
there,
some.
that would work. Okay, so now I am once again going to lay out my pieces. For
I am
this.
having trouble with mine.
You are having trouble. What is happening over there, Erica?
I don't know. I need my leader.
What is happening? Okay, so look what I'm doing, quilters. All right, I'm laying out my pieces because I've determined what I'm going to do is I need to. What that did
What?
not
It
sew
is
straight.
not, yeah.
Do you need some scrap fabric? Okay.
Yep.
So
just
as I
needed to
lay
use
out
a
my
leader.
little corner pieces, I'm going to press towards the squares, and then
Yes.
all of my seams will nest. So that's what I'm going to do now. While I'm doing that, don't forget to ask us questions if you have any in the comments section.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing here. There we go.
There you go. Oh, just one at a time, Erica, just one at a time.
One day we're going to ask you all, like, what do you have to, do you listen to music when you sew? Do you watch movies when you sew?
Some people listen to podcasts
Okay, I cannot pay attention.
or audiobooks.
I can't. Do they have those now? we were traveling last week, and Erica, the lovely Erica, was reading to me because we had many hours to spend in the car. And her daughter said, you know, there are these things called audiobooks.
I said, but you know what? I'm really good at reading out loud, and I do good voices.
She does good voices. She
I
did
do
a great job.
I do the dialects and
But we need to
everything.
finish that book, and now I need to have it so I can read it.
Okay. I actually left it out because I'm like, I think I need to reread this one.
Oh, there you go.
So again, I'm going to do just what Pam said. I'm going to press towards all of my squares, solid squares.
Yep. So I have to listen to stuff I already know the answer to. Like I have to watch shows that I've already seen or movies. I think we've talked about this before. My favorite movie to sew to is the new Top Gun Maverick. And I have literally seen that movie probably 20 times. I mean, I bought it when it was first out. We bought it on Amazon Prime, and I have watched it because I know how it ends. It's going to be okay in the end. And I can watch the like fight scenes and the flying fast scenes and stuff. I know 90% of the dialogue, and so does my cat Pearl. And then I'm not stressed about it because I can just listen to the noise.
Just listen to the noise.
Yeah,
You're
listen
so
to
funny.
the noise. I know.
You're so
when my
funny.
husband is home, he likes to come down while I sew, and he likes to watch shows that I don't care about. Like he likes anime, Did you know that about Ray? He loves
I did
anime.
not know that about Ray.
My boys and my husband love anime. Brock, do you watch anime? Yes, Brock does, and so does Kenyon, yeah? Yeah, a little bit. Craig, do you watch anime? No, I don't. Okay. Well, Ray watches anime and I don't care, so if it's on while I sew, that's fine with me too.
Because then you're not like missing something, right?
No, then I don't, then I don't care. I'm not vested in it.
Okay.
And Pearl will sit on his lap and watch anime and I sew. It's a very comfortable day. So, all right. And Teresa from Columbus, are you the Teresa I know? Because I really want to know that. She's super fun. Okay, so now I'm ready to sew my sections together from my blocks, or my corner blocks. So notice I'm laying
Get
them
those
out.
pieces, yep. You want to make sure everybody's facing the right direction here.
The big squares, the squares go in the corner.
Yes.
How you want to do that?
And if your seams aren't nesting up, that's your first clue
Oh,
there may be trouble in paradise.
gosh. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right, so the focus squares come to the middle. That's how you know you're starting it off right. And then the corner go to the outside. So I think all of my pieces are laid out correctly.
I've never been so proud.
Well, only because you have the sample there for me to watch.
Well, you know what? That's why I say to lay things out, quilters.
Well, and make sure it's right, because one time I did a block and I actually sewed it wrong, and then I made 4 other blocks that were wrong because I followed that first example.
Oh, yeah.
Have you done that?
Oh, yeah.
Man, that's enough to just make me not be a quilter.
I make mistakes if I sew too late, if I stay sewing too late at night. You know, it's like the bewitching hour.
Oh, do you ever sew in the morning?
Before I start working?
Yeah.
No. No. On Saturday, I will get up and sew in the morning.
No.
Just no.
Oh, okay. Do you have a favorite time on Saturday? Just in the morning?
You know, I gotta have that little bit of time to sit and clear the email off my phone and drink a good cup of coffee, and then I can start sewing.
Ah.
And I don't necessarily notice that getting dressed wasn't involved with that discussion, because I can sew just fine in my jammies.
Oh yeah, amen. And I cannot sew after like 4:30 in the afternoon because I'm just a mess. But sometimes when I am sewing in my jammies at 3 o'clock in the afternoon,
There you go.
much to my son's dismay.
All right, now I'm gonna go, and here's how I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just opening up that little seam to split it open and press it down.
What are you doing there? Show me. Oh, I can see on the camera.
Yeah.
Show me what you're doing there. Oh, you're twisting that open. You're
Yeah.
spinning that center.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just take out a thread or two, and it's gonna open up, spread out your bulk.
The lovely Eleanor Burns taught me that.
Yes.
She's fabulous.
And it took me it took me a minute to feel comfortable doing that,
Yep.
but once you do,
Yep.
you don't want to go back because it's very satisfying.
Okay. Look at this. So again, quilters, this is a great chain piecing block. You want to make sure that you're, look at that, Erica. Look how good yours look. I think I'm just going to press mine because I need to do this on my big iron.
Oh, yeah, because I've got the,
Yeah. You've
we're
got the-
sharing the Eliso
Yeah.
right now, so.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not
We'll
going
have
to,
another one of these days, and then we'll have.
yeah, that'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Okay. So I'm pressing this out. I've got one left on my machine that's acting as my leader. But then we're going to be ready to lay out our block, right?
Yep, and sew your block together.
Sew a rock together. Okay. Put that up there. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to lay out all of my, here's my center block.
Where is my center block? She queried.
And
Oh, it's right here.
so that center row is going to have, the center block, it's going to have one of our square on point units on either side. And then on the bottom of mine, let's see here, I've got and these are going to be in opposite corners, so don't freak out when you're making these. This one's going to go up where the iron is sitting.
Oh, it just burned my finger.
Oh, Pam, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That's the worst.
Clover, man, that
I
is
thought I didn't have enough of these squares, and somehow I ended up
steaming
with
hot iron that I just burned my finger
a
on.
whole bunch.
Okay.
And then my last one is
Famous hot
on my
boys.
machine. So I've got my block laid out, and I'm double checking it with my block over here to make sure everything's lined up. You can see I've got my pinks, and then I've got my yellows. So I'm going to go ahead and start sewing.
Don't your corners have to rotate so that the pink and yellow are going?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Brock.
Good catch.
Yes.
Shoo.
There. Whew.
This is
I was
why
so worried about having the right color on the right side, I forgot that the print ones all have to go in. See, it looks different on the camera. Now I'm going to go ahead and start sewing the first two sets together. Heavens.
And I'm just going to press these, give them a little press. And I'm not going to sew my rows together just yet because I really want to give them a good press to make sure they're laying flat.
Okay. Now, I've come up, I don't have a stiletto.
Oh.
I have my scissors.
Do you-
I'm gonna, no, I'm good, I'm good. I'm gonna sew, I like to sew my square on point unit on top so that I can just make sure I'm not clipping off its nose. Or vampire tooth, or whatever it is that we're gonna call it.
You can call it whatever you want. I like that it's a nose. I don't know that it's a nose. It's on the top.
It's on the side.
There you go.
Okay. All right, we're about out of time, so if you've got questions on assembling this unit, now is the time to give us a quick ask.
Yes.
And I'm getting this
There we go.
done here.
And Anita provided really great pressing directions for this pattern. So you want to press that top row towards the center of the block, the center row towards the outside, and then the bottom row towards the center again. And that way your seams are going to nest. So we're going to let Erica do that.
Okay. I can't believe I don't have anybody suggesting Iowa quilt shops to me. Y'all are letting me down here. Okay.
Call Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
Maybe she knows what to do in Des Moines.
I'm sure she does not.
How do you know?
Well, because unless her
Taylor
mother's a
Swift is
quilter.
quilting. Did you see that Taylor Swift is
No.
sewing these days?
I did
Yes,
not.
all the Swifties are now involved in quilting and sewing because
Well,
Taylor was sewing some stuff. She was
what was she sewing?
like a shirt. She was like embellishing and such. I should have sent you the reel. It was
Well,
pretty amazing.
yeah. How could you not?
I don't know.
My gosh, Pam.
I know.
This is like,
All right. Well, Erica's sewing
Big
that.
news.
Do we have questions?
let's see here.
And I'll answer them while you sew your last row together.
Well, I'm seeing, looks like Lauren put something up, but I don't
Hi,
see it.
Lauren.
Oh, let's see. Heritage Designs in Amana On Quilter's Cupboard in Ankeny. I've been to Quilter's Cupboard. Off the Rails, yes, I've been to Off the Rails in Bondurant. Yeah, I get out. Ooh, Cotton Creek Mills. I haven't been there.
Well, see,
So there's some new ones, yeah.
there's some new ones. All right, well,
Excellent.
Erica says here, last row together, you want to check out the AccuQuilt blog because Erica will have a post each Wednesday during the Quilt-Along to go over the details of the day's events. You can find the blog under the Discover header on the AccuQuilt website.
Even when I'm off gallivanting around, I will not leave you high and dry. There will be a blog.
AQS will also be updating their original blog post, so you can check that out as well. And before we end part 3 of our Quilt-Along for the Go Simply Cubed Throw Quilt, we want to announce today's winner of our giveaway. We're going to give $100 in AccuQuilt reward points. Can we have a drum roll, please? It is Susan C. of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And Susan, I have already added $100 in AccuQuilt reward points to the email associated with your account.
All right.
All right, Eric, anything else?
So that's what I'm just checking, and for some reason, it's not. There we wait. Bloop, 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 bloop. I went to a different show. Well, that would be interesting if I answered different show questions.
All right, don't forget we have plenty of special offers available if you're on our website. To get your order in and open a new tab in your browser, type in AccuQuilt.com/party to see our current deals and place your order. And it is time for Eric and I to wrap up today. Get ready for our next show.
Okay, here's a couple of other questions that
Okay.
just popped up for us, so we want to answer this. Is this doable for a beginner? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you are a beginner, it's great because you can watch the videos. All of our videos are going to live on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel and our website, so you can go back and watch them and literally sew along with us. You can read that quilting project parade, all the questions, and you can get all the information you need. It's a great beginner project. Can EQ8 help you with making this quilt scrappy? I don't know.
No, but Go Quilt could help you make it scrappy because you could choose the different colors that you would like in Go Quilt.
Okay. Somebody asked about the clapper,
We talked about it.
and we talked about it. And right, so it's used to flatten out your seams. So basically, it's going to help just flatten that out. It's going to help weigh it down, but it's also going to absorb the heat. And clappers actually came from, they're actually known as tailor's clappers. It comes back from tailoring and making clothing. Let's see, who else? Oh, Cheryl wanted to know about, have you ever swapped out one of your squares with your quilt label? That's an interesting
Oh, no,
thought.
but that's a great idea.
No, but what I did do was make a 4-inch version with the 4-inch cube, so it finished at 6 inches. And I think I'm going to use this on the back as my quilt label.
There you go.
So that's what I think I'm going to do. And Debbie asked if she used her 9-inch cube, how big it would be. So with a 9-inch
13.5
cube, your blocks are going to be 13.5 inches. So keep in mind, we've got a 3x3 grid. Go with the shape of your number 1 square times 3. That's going to give you the size of your block. Do you know, if I missed out on the question, the ironing pad I'm using? This ironing pad I'm using actually comes with our furniture from Arrow and fits on top of one of our cabinets that we have. And I actually have the cabinet, we've got the cabinet over here. I've pulled the ironing pad off to use it here. It's a really nice one. I really enjoy using it when I'm in the studio. Can this quilt be scrappy? You know what?
Yes.
You can make it whatever you would like to make it.
Yep.
That is the key to that.
Okay.
And have we considered doing a sunbonnet Sioux quilt along?
Well, we'll think about it.
We'll put that in the consideration list. Okay, so that's it for questions.
Yep. Join us back here next Wednesday. We're going to get these quilt tops sewn together. Happy stitching, quilters. Thanks for watching our show. Be sure to follow us on Facebook And subscribe to our YouTube channel and look for live events every Tuesday and Wednesday.
You can visit the events page on AccuQuilt's website for more details on upcoming shows. And while you're there, check out the blog for tips, tricks, tutorials, and inspiration galore,
And remember, at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time.
so you can quilt more. Join us here almost every Tuesday at 12 noon Central Time for launch parties, trunk shows, and plenty of inspiration. Next time, Pam will be talking all about busting up your stash by making and using pre-cuts. Tune in to see if you've won one of our prizes during the show.
And join me every Wednesday at 12 noon Central Time for AccuQuilt Live. We have tons of fun. Next week, we're sewing our Simply Cubed Throw Quilt Tops together. See you there.